This is the stock 36-volt battery that is back ordered. So it's forced me into a predicament of going aftermarket. I can go to a 36-volt 10-amp-hour battery that will fit in this battery box and just connect the red and black wires and get motor, and everything works the same. The performance will be about the same. But for about the same money, I can go to a 48-volt 10-amp-hour battery, and I'll have to fit this in here. But the benefit of going to 48 volts is I should get a performance gain and also longer rides. Now, I know what you're thinking. I'm going to put a 48 volt battery into a 36 controller and a 36 volt motor. It should be able to handle it like the Razors. Now, some of the Razors do have an issue when you go to 48 volts on long off-road rides or heavy adult riders. The motor will overheat. What I've done to mitigate that is install a heat sink on the motor so it dissipates the heat, and then you can run the 48 volts without an issue. So without further ado, I'm going to get this packaged in here. A link to this battery is above and also in the description. So let's get after it. To gain access to the battery box, you're going to simply remove this bolt and this bolt with a 4mm hex like this. And then this plastic just pops right off like that. There's some tabs, and there you have it. Now this is the 36-volt battery mated to a 1,000-watt motor. This frame is the same size as the 48-volt battery that will be fitted with a 1,500-watt motor. The battery is slightly bigger on the 48-volt version, but on this version, it's 36-volt, 10 amp hours. All right, in order to remove the straps in here, I'm going to simply unhook these bungees. You're going to reach into the front of the compartment and unhook it from the hook like this. There's two straps. All right. Going to push those out of the way like this. And then the stock battery should come right out. Now what I could do is snip the wires here and then put my new battery connector on there, or I might take the plastics off and disconnect it from the controller. I'm unbolting the rear seat. There's a 13mm hex that's underneath, and then the seat just simply slides forward. And then I'm removing the front plastics using 5mm hex. And then I have access to the battery cable that connects to the controller. I'm disconnecting that. I'm going to reuse the factory battery cable and solder on a new connector to connect the new battery. Here's how we're going to package the new battery in the Mototec. This is the old original battery. What I'm going to do is cut the leads off the battery and retain the cable like this. And then I'm going to attach this new connector, the T connector or the T Deans connector like this. I'm going to use some solder and seal connectors. You can also use different connectors that you see fit, and then that'll plug into the factory controller. Now with regard to the battery, what you want to do is it'll fit in here like this, and make sure that the charging cable comes out the back easily accessible, and then the cord is in here to connect, and you can see that it fits in here like that. It's going to have to go on an angle, but in order to do that, I want to protect it, because as soon as the battery rubs against metal, that's where you end up getting a fire. So what I'm going to do is use the foam that the battery is shipped in. I'm going to stick it in like that to make a nice secure box like this, and I'm going to strap this together. I'm going to cut this down. What I do is I use a serrated bread knife and obviously take the battery out to be safe, and then I'm going to cut this down so that it fits snugly in here, and it's a little bit smaller box, and then it will sit on an angle like that. So all right, here's the T Dean connectors. This is the factory cable. I just simply connected the red to the red, the black to the black. I use these solder and seal connectors, and then I take the heat gun and I just put a little heat on it. It melts the solder. It's nice because it's a weatherproof seal and you get very little resistant drop across that. I'm going to wrap them in electrical tape just for extra protection. You can use other connectors like butt connectors or those simple lever connectors, but they do have a slight resistance over these nice soldered connectors. Here is the battery. I packaged it up nicely, trimmed the foam down. I used duct tape to secure it inside here. You can see the battery. The connectors are here. The battery is going to sit like this in there nicely, and then I'm going to use some spare pieces of foam to kind of support. I can use these spare pieces, cut this down, and put some pieces in here and get that situated. I'm also going to put a piece up here to prevent it from bouncing around. I do want to keep the foam in this area here and let the controller breathe, because I'm sure the controller gets hot when you're riding, especially with the extra power into the controller. Got the battery mounted in here. I use the blocks of foam, cut it up to make this wedge. I then put 2 on the top so it prevents it from jumping up. Here are the cables coming out here. I can attach the power cable, and then the charger cable I might just tuck down under here, and then I can easily just directly charge the battery. All right, moment of truth. I'm going to connect the harness up here to the controller. It comes down and then connects into here where the battery is connected. Simply slide that Dean connector together. I'll get this situated, but let's just test everything out. Come over here. I'm going to turn the bike on. I see that I have power. It already sounds faster. All right, looks like that's good. Now I'm just going to zip tie these wires, get that, put that back on. I'm also going to put the motor heat sink on the bike here. To install the heat sink, what I'm going to need to do is loosen this bolt and let the swing arm drop down, and then be able to slide this heat sink right on the motor and then reattach the shock. So let's get after that. In order to remove the rear shock, you're going to need a 12mm socket or wrench, and then 14mm on the other side. All right, I removed the bolt on the top of the motor here to help facilitate the heat sink going on easier. I'm going to put a little bit of soapy water on here. Don't think it's going to fit. I'm going to have to drop the motor down. Before I remove the rear wheel, I'm going to try sliding it on from the bottom. As I noticed when I was able to lift up the swing arm, there's more room to slide this on and engage the motor. So I'm going to go ahead and try that now. See if I can't get this to engage. Looks like I got it on, and then I just need to turn it around and get it situated. I was able to get the heat sink on the motor, but I'm having a tough time getting the nut on here. So what I need to do is trim back or make a little slot on the heat sink so that I have access for the nut. The same thing down here at that location. I also might take it and get it chopped off about a 1/2 inch so it fits the barrel of the motor a little better. I have a friend with a machine shop that can do that. But overall, it fits on there. And I'm going to get this bike reassembled. Let's do a speed test on this 36 volt 1000 watt bike that I upgraded to 48 volts. Stock motor, stock controller. Oh yeah, much better torque off the line. I got the settings on the controller to the max. Alright, on that speed run I was able to get to 24.3 miles an hour. That is a gain of about 6 miles per hour over the 36 volt battery. Pretty happy with those results, all things considered, that this battery was actually less cost than the factory battery, but I was forced into this path because the factory battery was unavailable and back ordered. I hope that you liked this video, subscribe to my channel, and thanks for watching.